Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ready, Set, Replay, the ultimate video game replay podcast. I'm Daniel, joined as always by my best friend, Skyler.
Ready to play some games.
And today we're talking about a real good one. We're talking about Resident Evil 2. We're going all the way back to January 21st, 1998, Sky.
That's not the furthest we've gone back, but...
No, but it's not
pretty
far
It's
off.
farther than we're supposed to go back.
That's true. On this Resident Evil side quest, we're now, halfway through, I guess. So, we're going back pretty damn far. Skyler, Are you ready for the rewind?
Whoa!
Whoa! It's too stupid. We're too stupid. Okay. January 21st, 1998. This is 2 days after Martin Luther King Day and apparently National Hugging Day. So that's all the zombies were doing, is they're hugging.
They wanted to give you a big hug.
It's just the holiday. In the world of music, the top 5 looks like this. Number 1 is Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden.
Nice.
It's a good one, and also the only one of these 5 that I like, really. Number 2 is How Do I Live by Leanne Rimes.
You don't like that one?
Not really. It's just kind of too moppy for me.
I want to know, how do I live with that? All right, go on.
Together Again by Janet Jackson.
Okay.
Been Around the World by P. Diddy. We just can't get away from him. The Resident Evil 1...
We're unfortunately in his era.
Yeah, well, the Resident Evil 1, I think one of the top 5 was an R. Kelly song, and now here we are with P. Diddy. We just can't get away from it. And number 5, this is also, I think, a tone setter for where we are in the world, is Candle in the Wind by Elton John, but specifically the 1997 version that was rewritten as a tribute to Princess Di.
Aw.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Princess Di. I'm sorry that the royal family was so mean to you.
Yeah, honestly, her whole story, we won't get into it. What a mess. She deserved better. I don't even know if she was a good person. Doesn't matter. Deserved better.
Meghan Markle wishes she was you so bad, but she's not.
That's rude, but possibly true. I don't keep up with the royal family because I'm not a white woman.
For the record, I am also not a white woman. I just know a couple.
That's your mistake. You shouldn't have done that.
No! Try every day.
The box office is, let's be honest, killing it. Although
let's hear it.
None of these movies came out in January of 1998. They are holdover from last year, from 97. Yeah. But number 1 is Titanic by Paramount.
Yeah, it'll do that.
It'll do that. Number 2 is As Good as It Gets by Sony. This is the one that I had to look up right before we started recording. Are you familiar with this?
Okay.
Off the top of your head.
I've never seen it.
I think you do know this movie from the quote, "You make me want to be a better man."
Again, I've never seen it.
Really? Okay. That's a big quote. That was one that's like, if you've seen it, that's popped up. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's a good movie from what I remember. I think I watched it like once a long time ago with my sisters or something, because I distinctly remember the "You make me want to be a better man" line. Number 3, though, we're right back on track, baby. It's literally Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, okay. That one I've seen.
Coming from Miramax. We don't need to talk about that one. If you don't know what Good Will Hunting is, then, I'm not going to be the one to explain it to you.
How do you like them apples? See, I can quote movies, too.
Thank you. Number 4 is Tomorrow Never Dies by MGM.
James Bond, baby!
We're in there.
I knew it was going to be in there.
And number 5 is The Return of Our Boy, also from the previous Resident Evil episode. It is Mouse Hunt from DreamWorks Distribution, starring...
Oh my god, this is a direct Nathan Lane Resident Evil connection.
Indeed. And also, from the trailer that I watched right before we start this, he's doing a Ratatouille.
Yeah, have you ever seen Mouse Hunt?
Nope, never heard of it before.
Oh, really?
Never once.
I could swear they used to play it on one of the kids' channels, like Cartoon Network. When we
I'm
were
sure
kids.
they did, yeah.
It's a comedy movie about 2 men trying to catch a mouse, and it's directed by the director of the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Gore Verbinski.
But we end up loving the mouse, because from the trailer it looks like he's helping them cook.
We'll save that for the inevitable Mouse Hunt rewatch.
Okay, yeah, sure, we'll get to that one for sure. In the other top 10, there's a couple others that I just want to throw out there. Amistad, Scream 2, and Flubber also made the top 10 for this month.
Scream 2, good. Flubber, not so good. No love for Half Baked, which came out right before this game came out.
Hey man, it didn't make the cut, unfortunately, on the billboard or the box office. In the world of sports, we got some big things. On the 22nd, the World League of American Football was renamed to NFL Europe, which I only bring up because we talked about it on an earlier episode, is where Kurt Warner got his like sort of break into the NFL.
Wow, what game was that? Do we
I forget
remember?
what game that was, but we did talk about the Kurt Warner story.
I do. I remember the Kurt Warner story.
The Super Bowl had also just happened on the 25th, or I guess that's technically a couple days afterwards. Super
Going to
Bowl
happen.
32, in which the Broncos will defeat the Packers 31-24, and the MVP will be Terrell Davis. Well, a couple of other things that happened around the same time, just in the general news-iverse. On the 26th, 5 days after the release of Resident Evil 2, was the day that Bill Clinton said, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman."
Wow.
Yeah.
Which, of course, was the absolute truth. He didn't. We can never prove it.
Depends on how much you think a blue jab is. You know what I mean? Does that count? Does that not count? Who knows?
I
Who's to
think
say?
that counts.
On the
I think
25th,
that counts. Sex is one of the two words in the act oral. We're off to a great start.
we're having a
with our
good time.
Resident
On the
Evil.
25th, Victoria Adams of the Spice Girls announced her engagement to David Beckham.
Victoria Beckham.
Victoria Beckham, previously Adams.
Man, I don't. Which she Sporty Spice. Which one is she? I don't know the Spice Girls. I'm sorry. Sporty Spice. No, that's not her. That's Mel C. Oh God. Vic. Oh God. Which one is she? Victoria Beckham. I'm googling frantically. Posh. She's Posh. Of course she's Posh Spice. Of course she is. We knew that. Ready, Set, Replay knew that. Don't sue us.
We don't sue us, Spice Girls.
She's sporty because she married a football player.
You would
It's not my
think.
fault.
Soccer
not my
player,
fault.
please.
Well, okay. She married a footy player.
Okay, I'm willing to make that compromise.
Footy means something different in other places of the world too.
Yeah,
it
so
doesn't
does
work
Fanny.
anywhere.
Okay. On the 20th, one day before the launch of Resident Evil 2, a TV show that I don't think either of us watched, but was really big, launched. It is Dawson's Creek, debuted on the WB.
I have not watched Dawson's Creek.
No, I wouldn't have assumed you did, but it was really big.
Did they ever get him out?
Of the creek?
Yeah.
No, but I think one of the most famous scenes is his girlfriend leaves Dawson's Creek on a boat.
Oh. But nobody drowns in the creek?
I don't think it's a real creek.
What?
But
how's she on a boat?
You don't put a boat on a creek. Do they not have creeks where you're from? A creek is like...
Daniel, we went
barely any water.
Our high school was Timber Creek.
There was no creek there.
We had small bodies of water.
That's
a
not
small
what a creek
boat
is.
definitely could have fit. No, but you can't. Then why'd they name it a creek, Daniel? Why'd they name it a creek?
Because they loved Dawson's Creek. Our school was named after hit WB show Dawson's Creek.
I'm gonna look up a picture of a creek.
It's like a shitty river.
You could put a small boat on there.
You could put a toy boat on it. You'd have to be a Gorgonite to row a boat on a creek.
Hang on. The listeners won't know. I'm standing up to give you a round of applause for that one.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good. It was small soldiers for those who don't.
On the 14th, researchers in Dallas found an enzyme that slows aging and death cells. There's still research ongoing with it, but it has so far been a huge breakthrough and the basis of almost all Alzheimer's and dementia treatments.
Oh, have we injected it into any dogs?
I mean, probably.
All right, cool.
I don't know that, but I would assume so.
Somebody's elongated their dog's life. That's the important science.
Yeah.
Curing Alzheimer's also very important, but I'm just saying,
Yeah. On the 8th, this is pretty early, but I wanted to throw it on here because we just talked about him in the previous one. The Unabomber, who had been arrested, he had been caught.
Ted. What's up, Ted?
He was caught at the time that Resident Evil 1 came out. At the time that Resident Evil 2 comes out, his court case is coming up, and he has requested to be his own lawyer.
Unabomber, Nathan Lane, Resident Evil. Some things just echo through eternity.
Apparently so. And then also on the 8th, I had to bring this up, even though it's quite a distance away, but I don't know when we're going to come back to 1998 specifically, or January 1998. The first World Trade Center attack happened.
Oh,
The bombing
the
by
yeah.
Ramzi Ahmad. He
Yeah.
was the attack didn't happen that day. That was the day that he was sentenced to life in prison. So
Well,
there you go. We brought back the Unabomber. We brought back Nathan Lane. We brought back Sadness. And David Beckham is getting married. The
and
stage
Steve
is
Austin won
set.
the Royal Rumble.
And Steve Austin won the Royal Rumble. The stage is set to talk about Resident Evil 2. Skyler, I believe, even though I don't
Mhm.
think you put it on your favorite games list, that Resident Evil 2 is like one of your favorite games of all time. Am I wrong?
I mean, Resident Evil across the board,
Yeah,
but
you're a real
Resident
sicko.
Evil 2. I do think I said that the remake of this game was my favorite Resident Evil game. I do think I said
Right. I
that.
forgot it. I couldn't remember if you, because I think you were flip flopping between that and like four.
Yeah,
So I
it's
wasn't
one of
sure.
those things that just changes on the day.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Granted, I haven't
But
played the remake of two or
yeah,
two prior to this. I hadn't played either of them. So this
to
was my
set the
first
stage,
experience with Resident Evil 2.
we really liked Resident Evil 1,
Yeah.
and I also really like this one.
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking
spoilers, I did too. I think in some ways it's a huge step forward, and in other ways it's a big step back, and we'll get into that.
I
Um,
think I know about what you're gonna say on both of those regards, but can
yeah,
I just say I need to get something off my chest really quick.
right.
So
Oh my God, Skylar, put your shirt back on.
I need to talk about whoa. I need to talk about the version of this game that I played.
Oh, did you play a bad version? Did you get the bad one this time?
I okay.
Did you get the farty clown music like I got in the first Resident Evil
I
1?
didn't get farty clown music. I got
Oh,
I
okay.
got good
All right.
music.
Well,
Um, I didn't. Okay, there's nothing wrong with the version I played, as far as I'm concerned. I don't
okay.
know if people might say this is the bad version, but
Okay.
it's not because of the game.
There's a lot of Johns coming out, and I'm scared of where it's going to end.
It's because of the controller you have to play with.
What did you do? What have you
I had to
done?
play the N64
What do
version.
you mean you had to play the N64 version?
I played the N64
Didn't
version.
you? I thought you were playing this through like PS Now or something. Or didn't? No, you have
No,
a physical version of this, don't you? Don't you have a
I do.
PS1
I do.
version of this?
Okay, well, first of all, I played the first one on the PS Online Plus, whatever the
Right.
fuck it's called,
Gotcha.
because
There's our one.
because obviously that's the easiest way to play it. You think I'm gonna do work? You think I'm gonna plug in whatever something to the TV? No, unless I have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I played the first one. The Resident Evil 2 is not on there, so I'm like,
Right.
all right, bet, easy peasy. I have it in my PlayStation collection. But as you mentioned last time,
Hmm.
when you busted out your DualShock Resident Evil 1 with the poopy fart music
Right.
in the basement,
Right.
uh, you had to go buy
Oh
a PS1
no.
memory
You
card.
didn't have a PS1 memory card. Yeah, that
And
makes
I and
sense.
I looked as soon as I saw that it just said PlayStation, I was like, oh wait, I do not currently have a PlayStation 1 memory card.
Yeah.
And my options were thus:
Yeah.
go buy one,
Yeah, they're like $8 at Found It. They're cheap.
or don't leave my house
Oh no.
and open my N64 drawer where I knew I had a copy of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
Oh my
all
God.
right, here we go.
Oh.
And let me tell you, I probably screamed at this game a couple more times than you did.
Yeah. You had to use that dog ass controller. And it's already a game with like pretty rough controls.
So you know the part
How do tank controls
both
work on an N64 controller?
both versions not well. Both
Yeah.
versions, the A and B story, you start in like with the next to the exploded cop car, and you have to run to the police station, right?
Right.
In both runs that I did, that was the hardest part of the game.
Did you die there? Because I got bit a
Yeah,
couple of times.
multiple times.
I did
When I
Claire. I did
when
Claire
I
A, Leon B. You did the opposite. Yeah.
when I first started, yeah, I did Leon A, Claire B. When I first started, I died like 4 times in a row because, and maybe this is a skill issue. Maybe there's people out there like N64 controller and this game go together like baseball and apple pie. I'm doing great. I'm so good at video games.
Right.
Guess what? I on the controller I was using,
Hmm.
you'd be trying to go a direction with the tank controls and the set camera, and then you would just Leon would suddenly just turn around because you have the up, down, left, right?
Uh-huh.
But it also can register like a northeast and a northwest. So if you're not pushing perfectly up,
Ooh, not a weast.
you're turning around and running straight back into the arms of a hugging zombie. So
Oh dear lord.
that happened to me a couple times, especially just starting out. I had to get used to that.
Right. Man.
And despite that, I still really liked this game, so that should really say something.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get to say it in the first one, but because I like you said had that same problem where I didn't have a memory card for PS1.
Yeah.
And so I ran out to local retail store and I bought myself a PS1 game or a PS1 memory card. And I told you, but I didn't tell the audience the games that were on this memory card when I bought it because they don't clear it.
Yeah.
Was straight up hilarious, but it was clearly like the the memory card of like a child, like a young child.
Yeah.
Because it was like there was a Zaboomafoo one, there was a Barbie game, there was Treasure Planet. It was like some small child, probably a girl, her PS1 memory card, and then I slapped Resident Evil 1 and 2 save files right on the bottom. I didn't delete her old saves. Who knows? Maybe we'll go back and play PS1 Zaboomafoo. I don't know. Probably not, but maybe.
Gotta see how she was doing in Treasure Planet.
Gotta find out. Gotta get that one. And so just right at the bottom, there's like a bleeding eye icon of the Resident Evil one, like right underneath like the Barbie Horse Adventure one. It's really funny.
I did make a couple notes about the differences between the N64 version and presumably a version you played.
Yeah, I played the very first PS1 version. I don't know if there was like the DualShock edition. Didn't play that one. Any differences that was there? I didn't have that. It was I played the original one.
I wouldn't trust the DualShock because they put fart music.
I can't do more farts. I can't handle that.
Okay. Yeah, so some differences. So there was a couple upgrades made to this version. I think I guess we did our whole our Enter My Mind Palace thing, but this version came out in 1999, I think, so technically breaking rules. But there were some upgrades. So this game on N64 had surround sound. Allegedly, it had smoother animations, and obviously, they fit the entire game on one cartridge instead of 2 discs.
Right. So, do you have a character select screen at the beginning? Because on the PS1 version, you don't. You put in the disc. It's 2 discs, and if you want to play Leon, you put in the Leon disc, and if you want to play Claire, you put in the Claire disc.
There's a character select.
Okay. Interesting.
Because they had to fit the entire game on one cartridge, there were a couple sacrifices to quality. Specifically, the cutscenes were compressed to hell and back.
Oh no!
The FMVs. I mean, they still don't look bad. Like you're playing on a CRT as a kid, you know, it's fine. They look fine. It's just they're not super. I don't know. It's whatever.
Right.
There's a version called Extreme Battle Mode. Or something.
I did hear about this.
That was cut from this.
Oh, okay. It wasn't in my version either.
Ooh.
So, or at least I didn't see it. If it's in there, I don't know where it would have been. But I don't think it was in my version.
I don't even really know what it is, but it did not make the cut for this version specifically just to save space.
Did they also cut Tofu and Hunk? Because that feels like easy cuts.
Tofu? Was there tofu? I mean, of course there is. I didn't get to any bit that had. I didn't do any of that, so I don't know.
You didn't do the fourth survivor?
No.
It's not worth it. So I wouldn't bother.
Oh yeah. Okay, you had an option in the menus to change your movement from like pushing forward to relative to character position to relative to camera angle. So I did not do that because once I thought about the logistics of that, trying to remember which way to push up or down, like room to room,
it was too much to think. Yeah,
sounded like a nightmare. I'd rather just push forward.
I also had to change the controls on mine because the default control scheme for the PS1 doesn't use the like auto aim thing, and that game is unplayable without auto aim. I had to switch over to Type C.
Configured, especially once I was dealing with the controls I was dealing with. I definitely had to switch over to that. They added a randomized mode. Once you beat the game, you could start a playthrough with random item placement.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
And then a couple extras that you would expect from like version differences. The safe codes are different.
Oh, I know you have
There's
different
different
costumes. That one I knew.
Yeah, there's different unlockable outfits. That's pretty par for the course. There's extra collectible files. There's like 16 more in this version than on the
Oh
others.
shit.
Um, one of the ones that I thought was the funniest was you can change the color of the blood.
Okay.
So because it's a Nintendo console, right? It's Nintendo
Mm,
64 and it's geared mostly for children. They added a thing. So when you start up the game, it's like what difficulty do you want to play in? What character you want to play as? And then the last thing it asks you
what
is
color is your blood?
what color do you want the blood to be? And you can set it to like green, blue. You can set it to red, which I did to get the full experience.
Can you do
But
white like it's a Chinese censored anime?
no, I don't think they thought of that.
Damn.
Or they did, and they're like, that looks like something else.
Well, because it also, if you did that, then it would be like a reference to Alien, and God knows there's 4,000 of those in this game
Oh,
already.
yeah, there you go. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was funny that like you could just have green blood if you wanted to. And then the
Everyone who's
last
an
note that
alien.
I wrote, which I've already pretty much covered, but I'm gonna say it again. Also, you have to play this game with a fucking N64 controller, which you know isn't great. So,
Yeah, that's rough, buddy. I'm sorry that that happened to you.
but yeah, I survived. I did it.
Yeah, we once more entered the world of survivor horror, and came out
Absolutely.
the other side alive. Yeah, so I guess I in this case played the better version than I think most people would say. Although I don't know, some of the stuff that you said sounds kind of nice. The not the I mean the controller notwithstanding, but
Yeah.
the oh no, you said the battle mode wasn't in it.
Yeah.
They took that out. But the okay,
Agreed.
so the like extra notes seems cool. I think the lore is like the thing that I'm most interested in these games so
Mhm.
far.
Mhm.
And there's some of that in the PS1 version. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty. But I don't know, some more might have been nice. Were any of them like? Did you catch which ones were new? Was it like specific cool stuff?
No.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I could give you a cool answer like, yeah, I did all of it, and it says no, I didn't. I
Okay.
was too busy trying to. You think I could direct my character to walk over to a note to pick it up? Hell no. I was playing on
Oh.
N64, brother.
Oh. Okay. So you didn't even like necessarily try pick them up. It's not that you like just didn't notice
I
which ones
I
they were.
I picked them up. So when I play Resident Evil games,
Right.
if I find a note, I'll pick it up and I'll start to skim through it. And if it's one of those things where it's like, Jesus Christ, this guy wrote a novel, I'll start to skip through it. Like I don't, I need to keep going.
Sure. For me, it's sort of the opposite. Like I want those notes. That's the thing I'm
Yeah.
looking for. That's what I'm living for. Because the shooting is like whatever, and
Mhm.
especially in these first two, the boss fights have been like kind of nothing.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, it's the notes and the like story of it that I've been like really trying to attach to.
Sure, yeah.
And this one had a pretty good story. I don't think it's like groundbreaking or anything. I think it's better than the first one. Um, but it
Yeah.
didn't like blow me away or anything.
You know what? It is weird. Also think it's better. I mean, no, I guess it's not weird. I think a lot of people would say Resident Evil 2 is better than the first one. I just think, when we played the first one, we were like, the mansion's so great. Once you leave the mansion, you're kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
I think even if the police station isn't as cool as the mansion, I think every consistent place you go is equally as cool. So it kind of just like maintains.
yeah. I definitely think the mansion is still the best location in any of these games. Either
Yeah.
of these games, I should say.
Although, what
I
I'll say
don't
about,
like the police station.
oh, really?
I don't like the police station. I don't think it's bad necessarily, but I think so much about like the lore of it and the layout of it is like this isn't a fucking police station. Like,
Well, no, it
everything
was
about
a.
the police station like annoys me because it feels like I mean I know okay I understand that there's like the lore behind it and they're like oh it used to be an art museum and Chief
Mhm.
Irons bought all this stuff and also he's a criminal and blah 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 whatever
Mhm.
like I understand that they like put lore behind it but at the same time it's like there's a lot of it that reads as like hey man we live in Osaka, Japan. We at Capcom live in Osaka, Japan, and we don't know what America is like.
Yeah,
Here's
it's true.
here is a police station that looks like a train station and is the most convoluted thing in the world. Like there's like 6 desks in this whole thing. There is no room for any police activity at all. The holding cells are like separated and in a different section of the map completely that you have to go through a different like sub parking garage to get
In the
to.
basement under the garage.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening there. And it's also like right next to the armory, which seems like a place that you wouldn't want the two things to be, but whatever. Like so much of the layout of it, you just look at it and you're like, why is this like this? How is it? How does anyone get anything done in this place? And the answer is, it's a
From,
Resident Evil game. Shut up. But
from a realist standpoint, you're making good points.
yeah,
Um, but I do like the police station. I think it's cool. And also, I will say, when you play Resident Evil 1, or rather, when I played Resident Evil 1 in the mansion, as much as I liked it,
hmm
I was like, where the hell am I? And how do I go back to where I need to go? And you have to look at the map and be like, I think it's that way. I think go this way. Whereas the police station, I was like, okay, I know where I am and I know where I need to go.
See, I had the exact opposite thing. The mansion, I always knew exactly where I was. I like you could show me a screen. I could geo guesser any part of the mansion and tell you how to get back to the lobby from that room. The police station, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at.
That's interesting.
It's like a maze in that bitch. I cannot find. I don't know which way is up. I'm like, wait, do I have to go where? Where's the storage box? Why is there not a storage box in the main room? Why?
Yeah.
Why is that not there? Like there were multiple times where I was like, oh crap, where is the nearest thing? I don't know where it is. And I didn't have that in the mansion. I knew where to go.
I did dislike that the typewriter in the main room is there, but then you have to go to the side room for the storage box. So
Yeah.
anytime that you're like, I have to save here, you knowing that you have to, once you reload, you have to go back into that
Yeah.
storage room and then go
I
wherever you need to go.
Another thing I want to touch on here is I think that not only did you play the worst version because you're playing on the N64, I think you also played the worst version because you played Leon A. I think Claire A is like the canon one. I think that makes more sense because I was looking at it
Uh,
and I don't think Leon A would work for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the differences, I guess.
The big part of it for me is it feels like the Claire story is the one that is the most like intrinsic to the thing, and then the Leon one is like, oh, and here's the backstory of some other stuff. And so I feel like that one should be the A story, Claire, where you're like you're hanging out with Sherry and you're dealing with the Birkins, and
I
you're dealing with that
see.
story. And then the
I
second
see.
one you go in as Leon and you're dealing with Ada, and it's like here's all the spy stuff, even though they don't really talk about it too much. Like she never really like talks about what her plan is. I don't really know what the hell Ada was doing there. Maybe they talk about
She
it in a
just
later game, but I don't know.
she heel turns at the end, and then we get
Yeah,
more
but she doesn't even
information
really. I
about
don't
it
know. It's
later in
weird. That's
different.
that's a plot point. We'll talk about that later for sure. That's a plot point that like doesn't piss me off, but like confuses the hell out of me.
Okay, yeah.
But also, I think the number another big reason why Claire A is better is because the first boss. Because you fight the bosses you fight A and B are the same no matter what character you are.
Right.
But if you play as Leon, you're fighting that. I think it's called the G spawn, but it's the thing that comes out of irons.
Hmm.
But you don't really like talk to irons, do you? So do you even
No,
see
no.
him
As
when you're
as
Leon?
as Leon, well, in my playthrough at least, as Leon, you don't interact with irons at all.
So you fight the thing that comes out of him, and you're just like, where did this come from?
That wasn't the first boss that I fought.
Is that not? Who was the first
No, hang
boss if
on.
not that?
Um,
From what I looked up, I used a strategy guide for this. I went old school. I pulled up the strategy guide from when this came out, and the first boss that it lists for Leon on Leon A is the G virus spawn. Because for Path A, the bosses are, from what I read, it is this: G virus spawn, alligator, Birkin on the train, Birkin but he's a dog, and then, and then B is Tyrant 103, alligator if he's not dead, Birkin with a pipe, Birkin train but with 4 arms, Mr. X again, and then Birkin but he's a slug.
guess I'm just remembering the order. I don't know.
Because in the A story, you don't fight Birkin until you're going down to the lab,
Right.
and Birkin's half the bosses in this game, which is a problem that I have actually.
So yeah. So in how I ran it, it was Leon fought Birkin, and then the B one Claire fought mostly Mr. X whenever he would pop up, and then Birkin, and then the Mr. X fight at the very end.
Right.
What I guess I'm confused by the thing that came out of Irons. That wasn't. Oh, I guess.
Is he
Was
just
that
like
first?
missable? Can you just like not fight him as
No.
Leon?
I definitely know what you're talking about. I guess I'm just not remembering if I fought something before that. I thought I did.
The it's like you play like half this game with no boss fight in the A storyline
Yeah,
at least.
that might
Like
be
there
true.
is not a boss fight for a long time in the A side, A track.
Yeah, I
B
think.
track you
Yeah.
get, Mr. X fist in your butthole from like basically second one.
Oh yeah, he's.
I will say though, Mr. X kind of a letdown.
I get compared to the newer version.
Well,
I
I haven't played the
suppose.
newer version, so I don't know. But
Oh
what I will say is I heard a lot of hype about, oh my god, there's this guy and he follows you and you gotta run away from him. You can't fight him. I kicked his ass every time and it was easy. I don't think he touched me. I
yeah.
don't think that man got near me.
So the hype you're hearing is for the new one.
Okay.
Mr. X here, he shows up and you have to fight him. You have to take him down. And you have to pick up ammo from his body. And
That
then
hoe
you
showed
just
up and I
keep
hit him with
going.
the shotgun like 3 times and he was like, here's
Yeah.
some ammo. Don't hurt
So
me.
it's Mr. X in the remake where
Oh, where he's got
he
the little
literally
fedora and he's like,
yeah
actually,
he
ma'am.
he essentially works like the xenomorph from Alien Isolation,
Okay,
where
yeah.
he's always around. He's always
Oh, so
in
it's
the
not like
police
specific
station.
scripted moments and
No,
you like
but
knock him
but
out.
he whenever you're not in a safe room, if you go to a safe room, he doesn't know where you are, and he'll just wander off. And
Is it like that one part of 8 where Lady D's just like walking around?
yeah, it's exactly like that.
Oh, okay. I
I
kind of
think it's like
understand.
basically the same technology. And yeah, so if you wherever you are, if you're walking, he doesn't know where you are, but if you're running, he like starts to narrow in on you, and if you fire your gun, he definitely starts to narrow in on you.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And there are like parts where he can burst through the wall.
He does that in this
And then
too, to be
he does
fair.
do that. He does do that like twice here.
I can only remember once, but it may have been twice.
I think he did it twice to me.
He definitely did it in the interrogation room. Because you fight him in the
Yeah.
interrogation room, and then you bust through the wall and you shoot him again. I was
Um,
never intimidated by Mr. X at any point during this game. Is I
No.
think my biggest problem.
Well, the
Um,
other point to him in the remake is you actually cannot defeat him when he's just walking around. You can make him drop to a knee, and that is your opportunity to run away from
and then
him.
he just gets up.
But what's most important is just run away from him. Like if you just like avoid him and run away from him, that's how you deal with Mr. X.
Can I be honest with you? That sounds worse to me.
Worse.
Now I've got this dude following me around the whole time and I can't do anything about it. Like that doesn't
you
sound
can-
like fun.
You could do something about it.
And he's wearing
Yeah,
a fedora. He's gonna come up to me and have opinions about like which Magic the Gathering color is better. Like he's gonna come up to me and be
Daniel.
like, my Claire Redfield body pillow has several stains on it that I won't explain.
we know what they are. Daniel, you can shoot the fedora off his head.
I don't know if that's
But-
gonna make it better. I know. I can
No,
see
it-
the tan line that it was there.
It makes him walk faster.
Oh my god, because he
That's
gets
the thing,
mad.
if you shoot
okay.
he gets mad at you and he'll start to walk faster. So don't do that.
If you shoot it off him
Um,
and then run away, will he put it back on,
I
or is
don't
he
think
just
so.
fast forever now?
He might just be fast forever.
That's a bummer. Yeah, to me that sounds worse, but I guess we'll see when we get there.
It adds a like stressful but more fun element of like you hear his footsteps coming, and so you know like, oh shit, I either have to solve this puzzle now or like run away and solve it.
Mm.
I really like it. I think Mr. X in that game is really awesome. But
Okay. We'll see.
yeah,
We'll see
this-
how I feel about
this
it when we
one-
get there. It's gonna be a while.
obviously working with what they had, the old game equivalent to that is there are moments where he's scripted just to show up and
You
you have
whip
to
his
just
ass.
unload rounds into him till he falls over.
Man, I also think that the one place where Claire is worse is her weapons. I think Claire's weapons are bad. The bowgun. Okay, so you get a handgun for both of them, and it's basically the same
Yeah.
except Leon gets more ammo in his, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then Claire gets the bow gun and the grenade launcher, and the grenade launcher is really good, but you don't get a lot of like specific ammo types because there's 3 different ammo types. And so if you're
Yeah.
like, I really want to use the fire one because it's the best one, You're gonna run out
Mhm.
like immediately. So then you have to like
Mhm.
be constantly switching back and forth, being like, oh, that's a liquor. Let me switch to the acid rounds because I guess those work better on them. And
Yeah.
then I'm gonna switch to the fire rounds for like the plant guys or whatever.
I was
And
basically
like,
saving the fire rounds the whole game for the plant
see, I
guys.
didn't know the plant guys were
So
existed, so I just was using them pretty much
yeah.
regardless. I shot basically every boss with the fire rounds. I was like, all
They
right, this guy's got to go.
they're pretty good rounds.
And then she can also get the like lightning gun thing, but I only used it to kill like one guy, and then I was like, I don't care for this, and I put it in the bin.
I was avoiding using the bow gun because I didn't trust it.
It's
And
good.
then
You just
basically
don't get a lot of ammo for it.
at the point that I got uh I was like running out of ammo for the pistol. And I was like, I have no other choice. I just need to use this bow gun out of desperation.
Hmm.
And I had stockpiled quite a bit of ammo for it, bolts for it. And then I was like, oh no, this will do. It does shoot 3 bolts at a time. So it
Yeah,
does like that ammo
it
like
uses its ammo
goes
fast.
goes by pretty quickly, but it helped me get the job done.
It's a good weapon. You just can't use it a ton. Whereas Leon gets a handgun, a shotgun, and a magnum,
Mhm.
but then he can upgrade all of them, which is a really cool mechanic. And I don't know why Claire doesn't get that.
Yeah, she
Why, like, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Because when you upgrade that
So
shotgun,
she doesn't
it's
even get that in the A story.
broken. No, she doesn't get anything.
Oh, that is weird.
But the upgrade weapons they're all really good. You get like a 3-shot burst with the handgun. You get the shotgun just like basically hits everything in the room and like kind of one hits most things. And then when you upgrade the Magnum, it's a delete button. It's like
Yeah.
God slamming a car door.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
thing that thing gets the job done real fast. So I think the perks of Leon's campaign or whatever is Ada is way better than Sherry, and
Yeah, true.
the weapons are better. That's what I would say.
There's the part where you have to play as Sherry
I hate
and
that part.
they couldn't animate the zombies to grab you.
So they had to
So
put
they
dogs
just like
in.
spit vomit at you.
Oh, when does she? I don't remember even being around zombies.
Uh
She gets the
well,
dogs, and then she gets
oh,
her ass
that might
beat by,
that might be an A and B difference.
or it might be an N64 difference.
I don't think so, but it's
Because you're talking about, because okay, so in my game, when she goes to go get the key, whatever key
Mhm.
that is, I forget which one, and she has to do the like box pushing puzzle that you do with both her and Ada.
Yes. Yep.
There's no zombies there; it's 2 dogs. And then
Oh,
when you
for
go as
me,
Ada, it's zombies because she has a gun.
yeah, for me, well, yeah, Ada had to shoot. No, well, wait, Ada might have had dogs. Might have been reversed.
Huh?
It might be an A and B thing. Um, yeah, I know for a fact when I was doing it as Sherry, there were 3 zombies, and the zombies can't. They're not animated to lean down and attack a little girl Sherry, so they just like walk by Sherry and then spit vomit
That's
at you.
disgusting, but funny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's easy to avoid. And then as Sherry, you just like on an N64 controller, you pray that you run in the right direction and get to the little box puzzle.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that it was the exact same puzzle for both of them. That they both had to do
That
the exact same thing. That was a bummer to me.
that is like, in my opinion, the weakness of this game. And it's something that the remake changes.
Yeah.
Um, where like you might be doing the same puzzle kind of, but there is a different answer to each puzzle at
Yeah.
least.
I
So
will
there's different
say,
ways to figure everything out.
because I messaged you at one point and I was like, do I need to do the B story? And I had just finished, because I did Claire A and I had finished the police station as Leon. And I
Yeah.
was like, this has been the same game.
Yeah.
This has been the same game except Mr. X is here. And like, I get it. You know what I mean?
And yeah, so
The ending is different. So that I think is probably worth it. Genuinely, I think if you just play specifically Claire A, I think you're good. I think you've gotten enough of it. I would still personally play Leon B. I don't think you need it. Especially because I think the ending, the like true ending,
yeah,
kind of sucks ass. I think that's the worst part of the game. Easily.
the like the narratively or the fight.
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think I think that might be the worst part of either game so far. Is the Leon has to go fight Mr. X, but now he's just the boss from the end of the first game, and they don't tell you shit. They're like, hey, you've got 5 minutes. Run over there and do this thing. Oh, but you can't get to the
Oh,
thing yet
okay.
because
Yeah, yeah,
there's a
yeah, yeah,
gate
yeah.
closed. Well, you gotta go find the power thing for the thing, and then you have to walk half of the way back and like search around and find this thing, and then it's two separate things that you have to because really all they want is for you to have two
Have
openings so that they can
space
give
for
they
the
get the
rocket launcher.
rocket
Yeah.
launcher. And then you beat Mr. X Tyrant because he's a pushover. He's so lame. He's just as weak as everybody else. You shoot him like 3 times with the Magnum, and then not Ada shows up and throws your rocket launcher. It takes like 1 second, and
Mhm.
then you run back and you get on the train, and it's like, okay, what now? Like I'm on the train. Like we did it. We finished. And then they don't tell you, oh, the train can't move because there's a block in front of it. But no one mentions that. So you just sit on the train and you're like, I guess I have to go
Yeah.
do something else. So you walk out there, and
Um,
there's a bunch of zombies, and it's like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
I
Like,
am
what do you
picking up.
want from me? I've got like 30 seconds left.
I am picking up what you are putting down, and you're not speaking lies. I completely
And
understand.
then you get back on the train, and you're like, okay, we're done. We're finally done. I'm done with this game. Cool. And then they're like, hey, man, you know what you haven't had enough of? Birkin boss fights.
Yeah.
Here's one more. He's a
Gotta get
slug,
one
and
more.
it's the easiest fight in like the whole game. You just shoot him like 4 times, and then he
Mhm.
dies. But like, golly, because that was another one of my big complaints. Is like I think the boss fights are better in the first game. Not
Yeah.
necessarily mechanically, because I think they're all the same. It's a PS1 game. You put on your boss killing weapon and you shoot it until it dies. Like that's what it is.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in the first game, it's like I'm fighting a big snake and I'm fighting a
Big
big
snake, big
spider.
spider,
And I'm
big
fighting, yeah,
big plant.
big plant, and they all feel
There
like different creatures. In
there is a
this,
big crocodile,
there's
big
a big crocodile,
alligator.
but you only fight him once. You fight him in A
Yeah.
or B, I guess. And then, like, as you blow his ass up, and then he's not in the B. And then the
Um,
boss fights of this game are the remaining boss fights after the alligator are Birkin with a pipe, Birkin on the train again, but he's messed up, and then Birkin, but he's a dog, and then Birkin, but he's a slug. You fight. There's 5 different Birkin fights, and they're all functionally the same fight.
yeah, I'm gonna do once again the say the line, Bart. In the remake,
Yeah,
they do a really good job of every time you fight Birkin, which is multiple times, he's a different stage. He's got like a difference to his design, and there's like a different mechanic to each fight. So it all feels very like broken up and new every
yeah.
time that you face him. Um,
Is this the one that I was watching you play one time where you had to like power, or is this 3 where you had to power up like a rail gun to shoot his ass? Is that
that
2 or
was
three's
the
remake?
that was the 3 remake.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Um, the let me tell you my experience with the final Mr. X fight in this, if I may.
go for it.
So you get the rocket launcher. Well, okay. So first, the way that the fight works is there's a timer, and that timer is if you do not do all the stuff before this timer, you're going to explode and you lose. There's also a secret second timer, counting down to when Ada throws you the rocket launcher.
Mm. So
And
wait, you don't even have to shoot the tyrant. You can just run away.
well, the more you shoot him, the timer like decreases.
Okay.
So the more damage you put onto him, like that timer decreases. So you do have to put damage onto him to some extent in order to complete it in time, right?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but then yeah, so like you do big damage to him, and then Ada throws you the thing. You pick up the rocket launcher, and now your job is to fire the rocket at him. You have 2 shots. Why do you have 2 shots? You only need one. Well, let me tell you why you need 2 shots.
Can you
His
miss?
whole thing is he will sprint up or slide up to you, close the distance on you, and punch you real hard in the face. You need to get away
Uh huh.
and then shoot the rocket launcher. If he is right up on you, it is very likely you can miss your shot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And guess what, Daniel?
Yeah.
You can miss both shots.
Oh no. Oh my god.
And you know what happens when you miss both shots?
You lose, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, that sucks. I mean, I don't know. I know that it's like a what trope or I don't know, whatever you would call it, where every single Resident Evil game ends with like, and then this guy throws you a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
I know that that's a thing. I do think it's kind of lame if they then also make it that you can still lose even once you have it. You know what I mean?
I
Like that
I
it feels
don't
like at that point that should just be like a cutscene.
that
Especially if they
I
don't,
just
because if you miss, I feel like you should be able to use your super magnum and just shoot the shit out of the guy.
yeah, so I think it is just this game that I've ever had that happen. And I think to the extent of other games remakes in particular, like the Resident Evil 1 remake, pretty sure as soon as you pull that rocket launcher trigger, no matter where you are, it's just cutscene kills him.
Yeah,
Um,
that's definitely true in 4, which is the one I have the most experience with.
and here, I, yeah, it makes you question why that's a thing. Because it's one of those moments of like, oh, what if I missed? Haha. Oh, I did.
Ooh.
And then you just SOL and you reload the save, buddy.
Golly. Okay, another thing that I wanted to bring up here is the puzzles. And I think
Yes.
the puzzles are not puzzles. I think that's where I landed. I don't think they're
Okay.
puzzles. Because it's not. You don't have to be smart or clever or figure anything out. You just have to get the
You
item
have
from
to
one place and bring it to another place. They don't even
find
ask
the
you to
thing.
like slot it into a place. And this was true of Resident Evil 1 as well. You just go up and you hit use and it puts it into the right spot. You don't have to like figure out like, oh, where does the eagle plate go? Like you don't have to worry about that at all. You just
Mhm.
do it. And I do think it kind of sucks that Claire and Leon have the exact same puzzles, except they try to make you think that the one is different by making it like, oh, well, she's collecting the plates and he's collecting the plugs, but they're all in the same place. You just take them to a different place later. It
Yeah.
is the same puzzle.
That's
It
true.
ends in a different place.
It's
So I think
more
that kind of
about
sucks.
finding the items than it is actually solving a puzzle. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But also they're in the same place and that feels weird. There's like a lot of the timeline that doesn't work. And I get that it's a PS1 game and that like
Yeah,
I shouldn't worry about it
it
that much. But it's
it's the
weird that
same
like we both burned this painting. What do you mean?
it's the same creative liberty. This it just stands out here more because you have to play through it twice.
Yeah.
It's the same creative liberty of like I beat the game as Jill. Who's Rebecca? But she survived. So
Right.
that like the
Right.
canon is somewhere in the middle.
It's weird. It's weird. And then also, I think the one that really got me, because it was so early on, is I had like an actual reaction where I was like, the unicorn plate's over here on Leon B. It's like up on the second floor on the like the balcony and like a little alcove where there's for some reason like 4 zombies guarding it because of course there are. And I was like, how did it get here? Claire got it in Chris's office and then stuck it into the statue.
Mr. X threw it like
But
a discus.
now it's just like in the wall over here.
Yeah,
What? I was like, how
I
did
don't
this
know.
get here? Why did this happen? I don't know why that one like stuck out to me so much. I was like, why is this not just on Chris's desk? Why could Leon not just find it in the same place? What difference would it make? I don't know.
You were expecting it,
I
so we gotta
guess.
trick
But
you.
everything else was where I was expecting it to be for the most part, I think. So yeah, I don't know. I sort of come down in two ways on the Claire Leon thing. Number one, I think having to play it twice, basically, and it being by and large the same game is kind of
Mhm.
lame.
Yeah.
Um, but I think both have their own like draws. Like I think playing as Ada is way better, and I like her a lot more than Sherry. But
Mhm.
Sherry's story fits into the overarching narrative a lot better. Where like when you play Leon B, Annette is just like coming at you, and I don't understand why. You're just like, bitch, go away. I'm trying to do espionage.
Yeah.
Whereas in Claire's story, when she comes at you, you're like, well, I have your daughter, so like I kind of get it. Like Claire's story makes more sense as like a conducive narrative to what's happening, whereas Leon's is just like we're doing Resident Evil, and like they're both fine.
Mhm.
I enjoy both of them, but Claire's just feels like so much better.
Mhm.
But gameplay wise, I liked Leon's a lot better because I like the weapons better, and I liked playing as Ada better. So it's like Claire is the clear winner narratively, but and I also feel like she has a better excuse for this is gonna sound crazy. I feel like she has a better excuse for being there because she's the sister of the previous protagonist. So it's like, okay, I understand how we got to here. And whereas this
Makes
one's like
sense.
he's just some cop guy. He's just here now, and I love Leon. He's like my favorite Resident Evil character,
But
but
he's
he's just
our
like
cop guy. Yeah.
here now. I'm like, all right, cool, sure, fuck it.
Yeah. I think what helps us relate to all the characters better is the voice acting in this game is just
It's a lot
a
better.
couple steps ahead, and by a couple steps I mean way better
Yeah.
than
Oh, it's
what we were
way
dealing
better.
with
It's
before.
not. I wouldn't say like amazing, but it's a
No,
lot better.
it's what you would expect of a game of this like age,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but like it, I think I said something similar about the voice acting in the first game, but like there's a vast difference.
Mm.
Um, like they feel like real people. Except in the cutscenes where they feel like like dramatic movie characters, where he's like, "This is just the beginning,"
Oh my
that
god.
kind of thing.
The bit where he's like screaming when Ada quote unquote dies, I was like, it was a bit much.
Ada.
It was a bit
Yeah.
much. I liked it, but it was a bit much. Also, I wish that they had hit Ada better. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of lame that she dies and then she's back 10 seconds later. I don't love that.
What do you mean? It was a mysterious character. You didn't see it in the shadows. You don't know who it was.
Even he knew it was Ada.
Uh,
He goes, Ada?
okay. Well, it was. I was Claire at that point. Claire was literally like, "Who the hell was even that?"
Oh, okay. I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you're Leon, she dies. You go downstairs and she's back. And she throws you a rocket launcher and he goes, what the fuck, Ada? I
She fell
just
into the.
warned you.
She fell into the rocket launcher room.
My God. Okay, one other thing that I have to point out here because it was something that like kind of made my skin crawl, a real itchy tasty moment for me. I didn't care for the impregnation story arc here.
Go on.
I think okay, the one of the overarching stories of this is that Birkin has been like betrayed by Umbrella or whatever, and he got turned into a super monster. But now that he's the G virus like tyrant, whatever he is, his like goal in life is to spread the disease by basically doing face hugger stuff to people.
What he does to the reporter in the cell.
Right.
Is what you mean. Okay.
Well, he just kills the reporter, but like he makes us. He wants to like infect people, right? Because he infects Irons and then he splits open into the guy. And his big goal, his main goal, is to put an infection, is put a spawn into his daughter Sherry, and every single note that talks about that process refers to it as impregnation. And so what it feels like narratively, plus the fact that the only other villain in the Claire story is a confirmed sexual offender,
Yeah.
has this really gross undertone of like, is Birkin trying to sexually assault his 8-year-old daughter? That's what it feels like. It feels like it is a metaphor for like like criminal incest.
Yeah. I could see that.
It's kind of gross. I'm not a huge fan of it.
So that's interesting. So Birkin was chasing Sherry around in your version then.
Who's chasing her? His whole thing is that he wants Sherry. What is he doing in yours?
In my version, Mr. X is chasing her
Why does Mr. X want Sherry?
because of her pendant. Her pendant has
Because it has the virus in it.
virus in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Weird.
think I got a little. I mean, not to say that the notes that I wasn't reading didn't say the things you're saying, but I think I got a little bit less of the sexual assault chasing
Trying
that
real
you
hard
did.
not to roll the hard R on that one. I'm not sure if that gets us banned from platforms.
Definitely not going to say that one, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, Mr. X just wanted the locket, so I had a much more wholesome time than you did, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Because they even make a specific note of like he has to infect her because like he does it when he does it to Irons, it doesn't take right. He explodes into like a lesser crappy little spawn.
Right.
But he has to
And so it's
if
a
he does it to
DNA thing.
Sherry, yeah, because they have the same genetics, it'll like take better and it'll make like a super spawn or something.
Okay.
So that's like the whole thing. And then that's how in my storyline, Claire sort of like turns Annette to her side right at the end before she gets murdered by Birkin. Because she's like, your husband wants to impregnate your daughter. And I have to make the cure to get that thing out of her.
Ooh. That's gross. Don't say that. Don't ever say that again.
That's what the game said. I didn't want to hear it. Frankly. So yeah, that whole story arc was like kind of gross to me, especially the Claire A of that ends up feeling really gross because her two villains are two different forms of sexual offenders.
Sexual offenders, yeah.
And you're like, ew, why are we doing this?
My version only had one sexual offender and then one that we didn't know was a sexual offender, apparently.
Yeah, well, because Irons is also super creepy, and he's obviously supposed to be like that's the point.
Yeah. All right. We need to talk about
dude's the worst.
Irons. We need to talk about I don't know about how Claire was around Irons in yours. Presumably it's mostly the same because Irons is only in Claire's version.
He's in like one cutscene, two, I guess.
So do you find him in his office
Yeah.
next to the taxidermy room?
You
And
find yeah.
he's just like, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just sitting next to a dead
Next to the
body.
mayor's
I
dead
was
daughter.
supposed to protect her, but I didn't do a very good job, and now
Yeah.
I'm off to do more business." And Claire's like,
Yeah, cool,
"This guy's
dude.
weird."
Cool, bro.
It's like,
Have you
"No,
have you seen a little girl?
maybe shoot this guy,
Yeah.
Claire."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I forgot
That
about
that
a
was
third sexual offender in Claire's story, Mr. Kendo.
Wait, whoa. The gun shop guy tries to SA Claire or
If you
something?
talk to him before the zombies break in, he's like, "Yeah, I'll take real good care of you." And then they break
Oh
in then and kill
no.
him. If you walk away, I
Oh
assume they just break through the
no.
window and kill him anyway. But yeah, if you talk to him, which I did because I was like, "Oh, Mr. Kendo, I know from the like he has the gun shop. I know the memes. Wow." I talked to him and he's like, "I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna take real good care of you." And I was like, "Oh my god."
That's no bueno.
Claire is just running through the Mortal Kombat tower of sexual offenders.
The remake retcons him into be less of a sex pest.
Oh, good, because I think three's too many.
Wow. That's horrific. I'm sorry to hear that all happened to you.
Yeah, I really got the Claire experience. Let me tell you. But hers is the one that fits the best into the narrative of the overarching thing. I still think she has the better narrative, even though her villains are disgusting.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can see that. I mean, you definitely get more of what's going on with the Birkin family from her. And you are right. The stuff that you get from Leon's is just like, what is this Ada chick up to?
yeah, it's
And
like
then
tertiary stuff, and it's
the answer
cool.
is, we'll see you later.
Yeah, I also don't really. I don't know. I love Ada as a character. I think she's great. I don't know that she really like vibes with me super hard with this narratively because she shows up and she's like, I'm looking for my boyfriend, and then Annette
Yeah.
calls her a spy, and it's like pretty clear that she is a spy, but we never like see her do anything. You know what I mean? Like we get like one conversation between her and Annette, but even then she's like denying it. She's not being like, yeah, Wesker sent me or whatever. She isn't like, Wesker sends his regards and like shoots. I don't know anything. She doesn't. In my opinion,
No.
she doesn't do any like actual espionage, at least that we see.
I don't believe she is working for Wesker yet at
I don't
this
know who she's
point.
working for.
I
Yeah,
may be
because her
misremembering. She
John's
does work
dead,
for
I
Wesker
guess.
eventually.
Yeah,
And yeah, so John, obviously the John and Ada note that we got from the last
in the
game
first game.
was
Yeah,
her quote unquote boyfriend is just someone that I assume she was like honeypotting to get uh information on the
yeah,
virus
and that's
and
what
whatever.
Annette Birkin seems to think too.
And well, she was right.
I believe so. Yeah, I guess I don't have proof of that yet, but I believe so. Although she does seem
Uh,
like
ge-
genuinely beat up that he's dead, so maybe she cared about him to some extent.
no, she was acting.
Oh, it's possible.
She loves Leon from the moment she sees him. I know it to be true.
Well, she can have a crush on her now dead boyfriend and still
Nope,
think Leon's cute with his
nope,
little fish lips.
nope. That John who? That's what she says.
John Woo, and then she does a big backflip while doves happen.
Oh, the doves. I like it. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I let me see. Do I have anything else of huge note in my notes here? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk about the ranking system and the unlockables. So this game also has a subsystem that the first one didn't, as far as I'm aware, did not have, where
Mhm.
when you beat the game, it rates how well you did. And I don't actually
Yeah.
remember how I did. Probably not well, because the way
Well,
that it ranks it is based on time, which I spent like 8 hours on my first playthrough.
it
Uh,
and saves, right? Amount of
it's
saves.
it's okay. So anytime over 2.5 hours, you start losing points. Every time you save the game, you lose points. Every time you use a first aid spray, you lose points. And
What?
yeah, every time you use a first aid spray, you lose points. And if you use one of the special weapons, any of the weapons that take up 2 slots, if you use that, you immediately drop an entire letter grade. So if you use the SMG or the arc thrower, I think that might be it. Those are the only two I can think off the top of my head. I don't think the
I'm
rocket launcher
assuming.
counts because that's mandatory.
Yeah, you have to use that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the other ones, it immediately drops you a letter grade. And then with that, you can unlock the following things. You unlock the fourth survivor, who is Honk. If you complete A and B and at least one of them, you get an A rank. You unlock Tofu. If you complete any scenario 6 times and you get an A rank at least once. You unlock the Infinite RPG if you finish A in under 2.5 hours with a B rank. You unlock the Infinite SMG if you finish the B story in under 3 hours with a B rank. And you unlock the Infinite Gatling gun if you finish story B in 2.5 hours with a B and without saving. And the
Well,
only other unlockable on here is the costumes. So if you make it to the police station at the beginning without picking up any items, then there's a zombified version of what's his ass, Brad Vickers, who you can kick his ass and he'll drop a key to a locker, and it'll give you. It gives Leon 2 costumes and it gives Claire 1 costume and a special handgun.
right.
I don't actually know if it does any more damage or if it just looks cooler. I actually don't have that information.
For the purpose of this podcast,
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that. I just played the game.
I must have finished B rank with or the B side with an A rank or something, because I did unlock the 4th survivor. I remember that popping up and I was like, oh, and then I didn't play it. But I did unlock it.
It's very hard.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's what I hear is he has like preset items and you don't get to there's nothing to pick up.
You just have to survive your way through all the bullshit with what you've got.
So that sounds rough. Oh, you know what else we should talk about is the lickers. The hunter reskins.
Yay.
I don't know if I like them better. I don't think I do. I think I like them about the same. There is the cool mechanic where they don't have eyes, and so if you stand still, they can't see you. That's neat. It never came out in my playthrough. I saw them and I blasted them.
I like lickers. I like lickers better than I like hunters. I think they just have better design, and I think they're cooler. They're used better in different games than, because they are what they are here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they don't have eyes. There's really nothing about them. Do you find a note that says they don't have eyes? And then to do that.
I don't think so. I was trying to figure that out, and I don't know if I just missed one.
It's just something I knew. So I was like, where do you learn?
I didn't know it until I looked up videos after the fact. I had no idea that you could just kind of walk around them. There is one note that I can think of that talks about them, but I don't remember it saying that if you're quiet, they can't see you. I just remember it being like, we're calling them lickers and they can pierce a man's torso with their tongue. Mm-hmm. And I was like, gross. I was like, oh, ooh.
Well, now's a good time to remind everybody that a licker is what I'm going to call the final boss of the first Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, but that makes sense. I haven't watched those movies in a long time.
You don't have to.
No, I don't intend to.
You don't have to.
Oh, here's another weird thing. What's up with the plant guys? We never fight like a plant boss. We see one, I guess. There's like the big plant thing down in the lab, but we don't do anything to it or with it. It's just there. And moth? Why moth?
Moth comes out of nowhere.
Why moth?
Is just there. And then you gotta shoot the little grubs off the keyboard.
That was a disappointment for me. Is you do that. So there's a thing where if in the A story you do this basically side quest and then you open a door, then on the B story you can go in, you have to put in your thumbprint, and then they're like, you need one more thumbprint to open this door. And if in the B story you go and you do the same thing again, kill the moth again, and then go up to that door, then you can get through it. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be the big secret. This is the true ending. You have to do this to get the I don't know, something cool is going to happen. You get in there, and it's just this, you just get SMG ammo. That's all that's in there.
Or the SMG outright, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have the SMG, then you get the SMG.
You would have been Leon at that point. So did you have the SMG?
I did. I didn't pick up either. So because there's the item locker where there's the SMG and a thing that gives you 2 extra slots. I didn't pick up either as Claire. I didn't go into that room. But sorry, there's a creepy noise in my apartment. I might be getting murdered. We'll see.
Oh.
No.
Is this going to stay in the episode?
I'll cut it out if I'm alive.
No, it's leave it in because it's spooky because it's Resident Evil.
Yeah, but so when I got there in the B story, because I was doing more in that area as Leon, because that's where the Ada first part is. I got into that room in that one, and so I just took both because I was like, well, no one else is coming here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I basically got a free SMG that didn't take up any slots. Because I got 2 extra slots, and then it takes up 2 slots. So I was like, okay, cool. And then Mr. X becomes completely trivial with that thing because you melt him. I melted him the first time with that, and then I looked at the percentage of ammo on it, and it was still at like 95, and I was like, all right, well,
Yeah.
problem solved.
As Leon, I took the SMG, but not the extra pouches, so that I could fight the gooey guy that spits the little crabs at you.
The crabs?
What the fuck are they called?
Are you talking about the thing that
The
comes out of irons?
Yes, or
The guide I
I
was
get
reading
well.
calls him the G spawn.
I think that he came out of not irons for me, obviously, because I fought him in Leon's and I didn't meet irons, so he came out of the reporter.
The reporter.
Yeah, the one in the prison cell, the basement.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
weird. Because maybe because it was B. In the B storyline, you can get up if you go backwards through that area. You can get back into the taxidermy room, and you can find irons split open.
Oh, I
So I just
didn't.
assumed either way it still came out of irons. But if it comes out
I
of
didn't.
Ben in the Leon story, then I guess that makes sense. And I retract my previous. This boss makes no sense for Leon.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. We're in this we're in this weird position where I played this game like a week and a half ago,
I played this game
and
like two
then
days ago.
you say very definitively your truth because it was, and then it's just like you're accidentally gaslighting me into thinking like that's not what happened. I'm like, I don't know, did it come out of him? I don't remember.
I mean, because in my story, Ben still gets killed by Birkin, but he just like you just see like the eye open. Like you go back into that area later, and you get like the eye on his arm opening, and then Ben screams, and you go in there and he's dead.
Yeah, so for me,
And then Ada's like, "Oh no."
you go in there and he's like not dead yet, and he's freaking out, and then the G spawn bursts out of him and squiggles away.
Oh, I yes, no, you're the G spawn part doesn't happen, but the he is still alive because he gives you the note that Claire finds on the floor, where it's like he gives you the note that Irons is a sexual offender when you're Leon.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he's
No,
like, I figured it all out. Irons is the worst, and I'm like,
I
and in that story, I'm like, who's Irons?
I just double checked to make sure I wasn't making it up or daydreaming. He does get like he's freaking out, and then the G spawn squiggles out of his torso and rips him in half, and then you see it. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Down the hallway,
Oh, neato.
and then, and then Ada runs in, and she was like, "What was that?"
Dear God.
So
Yeah,
that's
no, it's
cool.
different for me. She ran in and she was like, "Oh no, the reporter guy, bummer."
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um, I think that's pretty much all the notes I have. Did you have any last thoughts before we get into our rating system, our patented rating system?
Well, just to recap some things we've already said is I think a lot of this game is an improvement on the first, but I think it loses a couple points by like making it now I do think playing both runs is necessary, the A and B.
Okay.
You gotta experience all the characters and then you have them all meet up at the end and you fight the last boss and then it's over. And I think I wouldn't just leave it at one, me personally. That being said, I do find it a bummer that so much of the things you have to do in the B story is the same.
Mm.
So that it kind of gets docked points there. If we're going into grades now,
We don't have to if you have more.
no, I think that basically covers it.
Sounds good. What do you got?
Then I think I'm going to give this the same grade I gave the first one.
The exact. So 10 is a masterpiece, 9 is amazing, 8 is great, 7 is good, 6 is okay, 5 is mediocre, 4 is bad, 3 is awful, 2 is painful, and 1 is unbearable. So you're saying
And I
you gave the previous one an 8.
think I'm yeah, and I think I'm going to stick with an 8 out of 10 for this one. This is a great game.
I think I, generally speaking, agree. I also gave the first one an 8. I'm in two minds of it, and I'm not far off an 8. It's like there are a lot of parts of this that I would bump up a letter grade, or like at least half a letter grade, and then there are also a lot of parts that I would bump down a letter grade. And so I think
Yeah.
maybe I do end up right in the same place. But
Yeah.
overall, what I'm thinking is like aesthetically, this is way better. Like the locations are more packed and more densely like arted out. Like they look cool. There's a lot of like bodies and gore and stuff, which, you know, I'm not huge on that, but if you're doing a zombie thing, you should have the set dressed. And I also think the narrative is better and the voice
Yeah.
acting and probably the guns, although I guess they're largely the same.
Okay.
I think mechanically the game is better.
Before you know what? Before you
Get into the
go in,
negatives.
no, but I was gonna say before you go into giving it your grade,
Yeah.
so I don't seem incredibly spineless. I might amend my 8 because
Okay.
you know what? As soon as you said it's narratively better, I'm like, that's a damn good point.
It is narratively better. The first one,
do
I think,
like,
has a perfectly fine story, but it's also like, I don't know why we're here. All the story kind of happens in the last 2
yeah.
seconds.
The story here is like
It's much better.
it's
Much
compelling
better.
all the way throughout.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Hell with it. 8.5.
8.5. Okay, we got there. For me, the negatives come in at this game kind of makes me feel gross with all the sexual assault metaphors, which is not necessarily a negative if that's the story they're going for, but it also feels like they're just kind of doing it to do it. Like, it doesn't feel like it pays off in any meaningful way. But then at the same time, it's also like, I don't know, there's a lot of really powerful women characters in this, so maybe that is the point, is like, I don't know, the men are doing this, but the women are like, all of the characters in this game who have any amount of agency are women. Even Leon like really doesn't do shit. Like he tells people to do stuff and they don't listen to him.
Leon, okay, here's how I described Leon to someone else the other day.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 Leon is literally just a puppy dog.
Yeah, I think that's about
Then when
right.
you get to Resident Evil 4, he's just a puppy dog that can do a backflip.
He's a
like there's really no difference.
Yeah, with a cool jacket.
So yeah, no, you're right in saying like Claire's the one standing on business, even Annette in her own way standing on business.
Right. Sherry, it has like some autonomy. I hate playing as her, but like even as a kid, she's like, I'm gonna go do this thing. I'm gonna find my dad, and like she gets. I mean, she's just Newt from Alien, realistically. And then Ada is doing whatever the hell she's doing. Although I narratively, I think that she's probably the weakest in this because they never explain what the hell she's doing. And it's like, okay, well, are we gonna find out what she was doing in 3? I don't know. In 4, she just kind of shows up. So, I don't know. So that part of the narrative feels gross to me, even though the rest of it I think is significantly better. And then the biggest negative for me is I don't like playing all of the same thing twice to get the full story. And I think it's really lame that like it's in the B story especially, this game is consistent of you fighting the same 2 bosses over and over and over and over again. You fight Birkin 5 times, and then Mr. X shows up all the time. Do they even call him Mr. X in this, or is that a remake thing? Because I only saw him called the Tyrant.
Unless there's a note somewhere. I believe he was called Mr. X before the remake in some sort of other thing, but I don't know where it originates from. So no, I don't know.
I'm in this weird place where I think on every like technical level, this game is significantly better than the first game. But I come out of this feeling like the first game is a more complete package, and I don't know exactly what that is. So I think I'm gonna do what you almost did, and I think I'm just gonna keep this as an 8. I still think this is great. I love this game. I think on a lot of levels I like this game better than the first game, and on a lot of levels I'm like, this game has some problems that I don't know how to address. So I think I'm keeping it just like flat at an 8. But I could see somebody argue this game as high as like a 9, and I wouldn't fight them on it. Because I think that it is... I think that in a lot of ways, it is significantly better than the first game. I think it just depends on like where your priorities in the game lie. Where it's like mechanically and visually, this game is way better. But I find it annoying by the end of B. I think by the time you get to the end of B, I'm like, I'm sick of this. I don't want to fight Birkin again. I don't want to fight Mr. X again. And that, for me, I think keeps it level. So that's where I'm going to go.
This is regarded as like one of the greatest games of all time. So
yeah. There's part of me that wants to also bump it up to an 8.5. But I think I'm going to not. I'm going to keep it at an 8, and then I'm going to regret it later.
You know what? I think the beauty of our system is if we're both stuck somewhere between an 8 and an 8.5,
yeah,
and we both say one or the other, That aggregates to exactly what we're feeling.
So right in the middle there. No, you're right. You're right. We really came up with the perfect system here.
No one's ever done it before us.
No one's done it better than us, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna say an 8. You're gonna say an 8.5, and we'll land on an 8.25, and that'll be our aggregate score for Resident Evil 2, which I think still makes it our best game, right? That's our highest rating.
So not only is that our highest rating for 1998, because we've also done Banjo-Kazooie, which was a flat 8 out of 10.
Nice, nice.
It is officially our highest rated game we've done on Ready Set Replay.
That feels good. That feels right. I do think this is the best game that we've played.
I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Banjo-Kazooie. I would put Banjo-Kazooie at number 2 probably here.
Yeah,
but...
I love Banjo. I love Resident Evil 1. Those are, I think, both sitting at an 8 right now.
Is that right? Resident Evil 1 was 8. Banjo-Kazooie was 8. This is 8.25. Then our next highest was Perfect Dark, I think, at 7.5.
That feels right. I feel really good about that. You know what? I was feeling a little bit bad about potentially rating this too low, but we're good. I feel good about this. We're crushing it. This is the best rating system in the world. We're the best at this.
So I know that the only 2 games we've played from 1998 so far
Bangers.
have been games we had to go back for because we were playing other installments in famous series.
Yeah.
So naturally those would get higher scores because of how well regarded they are.
Sure.
But like you compare the 8.25 and the 8 we've given to 1998, and then we look at 2000, the last couple games we've done, where it's just like 5.5, 5.25, 6, and just like, okay, well, yeah. 2000 sucks.
2000 was lame.
I'll never go back.
Well, if you would go back, you can leave a comment on whatever place you're watching this on. We'd love to hear what you think about Resident Evil 2 or any of the other games we've talked about, or what games you want to talk about, us to talk about in the future. You can also follow the show on Twitter at @RSR_POD. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Daniel J. McG.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Skyler8bit.
Thank you everyone for watching this far into the video, and until next time, play more games.
The game's just starting, the world's so bright. Jump right in, everything feels right. Let's play, take a trip back.